Oh, wait. Am I muted? You're muted. Well, great start to the show. Wait.
You hear me now? You hear me now?
Yeah, now I can hear you.
Yeah, my mic's been playing off a lot lately, but I guess we're take two. Like I was saying, welcome back to the channel, guys. Welcome back to La PIÑA ROSA, of course, where myself and Ten talk about Deportivo and Palermo, of course. For me, anyway, I mean, I know, obviously, if you've been watching the shows, Palermo haven't been doing that well lately, but obviously it was a big win this weekend that definitely got me a break away from my shambolic football club in England. Big up to Cubed every single time as well. I hope the audio is much better now.
Yeah.
So, hopefully that's better. But yeah, big up to Cubed every single time. But yeah, it was a nice little break from Spurs. I mean, the Palermo game was ending just as the Spurs game was starting, and obviously Palermo got a big win, which we'll talk about. But for Deportivo, they're obviously in a fantastic position right now in the table, obviously being top of the league. 5 wins in a row, so 10 can cut his hair, which is obviously great. Yeah, Man United are still waiting for that. Big up to Dantrum every single time as well. And yeah, I guess we'll just jump straight into it. Of course, before we do, subscribe to both channels, my channel here and Ten's channel as well. And yeah, tomorrow as well. Tomorrow, I'll just announce it here. Tomorrow for the Spurs Newcastle game, there will be a watch along. It will be streamed on both channels, just like this is. It will be a watch along for basically Cube. So what we're going to do is tomorrow there'll be a watch along. We'll start the stream earlier so we can do a little pre-game preview, if that makes sense.
And we know the lineups and all. Yeah,
we'll do a pre-game preview, obviously when the team comes out and everything. Then we'll do a watch along where no doubt I'm going to be crying and 10 will be buzzing.
And Newcastle with big Spurs 5 in a row at home. 6-1, 4-0.
That's what I sadly think will happen. But yeah, I just thought I'd announce it here. There will be a pre-game preview and watch along all in one stream tomorrow, being broadcasted on both channels. So go and check that out, guys. Subscribe to both, like I said. Just like this stream, it's being streamed on both channels. So exactly. Make sure you're subscribing to both. But yeah, I guess we'll start with the real team on form, and that is of course Deportivo La Coruña, 5 wins in a row, top of La Liga, and it was another very important win this weekend against Albacete, 2-0 win away from home, another goal for Stoichkov. That's 2 goals in 2 games for him, and another one for Zakaria as well, off the bench. So as you can see, the lineup, you have the generational Arsenal Academy kid, Charlie Patino, starting. And you've got David Meyer, of course, somebody that we talked about last week. He's one, along with Jeremy Hernandez, of course, got another assist in this game. Both of those two are guys that are being rumored to get big moves away. 2 very young Spanish players. Of course, Jeremy almost joined Chelsea and Como recently. So, and David Meyer is one that started to come up in recent weeks with a few rumors here or there. But another big win for Deportivo. 10, you must be pretty buzzing with that. I mean, from what I saw, just looking at the highlights, it was, you guys were the better team throughout. I mean, you kind of, they had a few chances here or there, but you kind of dealt with them reasonably. Overall, I think you guys deserve to win the game. It was a comfortable-ish performance. Just generally, I don't think you guys were ever in a lot of danger. But I mean, what's your thoughts on obviously the lineups you went with? A couple of changes, like I said, the generational Charlie Patino coming in. But what else? Yeah. So what was your thoughts on the game? And of course, the table, as you guys go top of the table, albeit it's still very tight. Of course, you're level on points with Santander. However, you've gained a tiny bit of a gap. Now it's 3 points inside the top 2, which are the automatic spots, which is where, of course, you want to be. So it's looking good for you guys right now.
Yeah, at the moment. But yeah, on Albacete in this game, I thought it was a pretty decent performance. I thought maybe the first half, I would say both teams kind of quite even, I would say, in terms of chances. I know Albacete, they almost, I wouldn't say hit the crossbar, but, was very close to opening the score. But then we kind of had a counter-attacking goal for the first goal by Stoichkov, not the famous one from the 90s, which score Stoichkov. It's not.
It's not him. It's not him.
He's not that good, probably, but it was a really good goal. I would say Mario Soriano with a really good assist for the Stoichkov goal, and obviously he slotted it in just before halftime, and it did help Deportivo in terms of maybe having some confidence in this game, and I would say that, like, with that 1-0 lead at halftime, I think we I wouldn't say take our foot off the gas, but at least we had an advantage starting of the second.
I felt like it, from what I saw, I mean, obviously I didn't see the full game, but it felt like it was reasonably comfortable for you guys from what I saw.
Yeah, I would say it was more just like make sure you defend well and all that. But even before we scored the second goal, Albacete could have had a penalty. Well, initially given as a penalty, but not given with VAR. I forgot who was brought down, but yeah, just not good with sort of dealing with the situation. But it seemed like it was more of a dive from the Albacete player than a foul committed, that sort of thing. So that's why Albacete were not fully given the penalty in that instance. So I would probably say, you could say fortunate, but I would say we still kind of dealt with them. In the second half, they had 7 shots, but only 1 on target. While for Deportivo, for us, we had 3 shots, 1 on target, 1 goal, that sort of thing. But even before that, because that was like near the end of the game as well, I thought Albacete were very limited in the amount of good opportunities that they had in that second half, because obviously Deportivo had the lead and all that. And then, it was a fast break for us to get the second goal. Obviously, Zakaria got substituted on for Stoichkov. So 1 goal scorer came off to bring on the other one that scored. And very good finish. We only had 1 shot on target in this second half, and that was the goal, which obviously did help Deportivo to win this game. And I would say overall, very good performance. I don't think there were really any bad players in this game for us. You could
Charlie Patino.
You would say, but overall, I would probably say that the defense played very well. Maybe had one mistake, Clagirata, with one of the chances that he had.
Ex Cremonese, Italian. Yeah.
But ultimately, Palermo saved it, so it was.
Seems like at the moment Militieri isn't really in the team. Of course, ex Frosinone and Sassuolo striker.
Yeah, one of your favorite clubs, Frosinone. But but yeah, I would probably would say that like maybe Militieri maybe now seems like he might be a third choice. I would say obviously Jeremiah, you can see him as a striker, but
he's playing up front. He's playing, as you can see the formation here. It's like a front two. Obviously, Meyer playing at right wing back, which I mean he's naturally a midfielder, right? So it's sort of an interesting position.
Sometimes he plays there. I know, like right wing back. I would say I'm not sure if it would be the same in a back four, but
yeah, I think he's probably because he's more of an offensive player. By the sound of it, so probably can play more as a wing back rather than a right back.
Yeah, because obviously that would mean because you barely see Cagerata, the left wing back, being the one that pushes forward. So it's usually David Meyer, and so I would say David Meyer is more of the right side, and then Jeremiah is usually on the left hand side of you can say the pitch or whatever. But for Militieri, maybe it seems like he's becoming, in terms of third, he'll probably be third choice now, with first choice.
I mean, Zakaria, he's a super sub. Like, there's been a few games from what I've seen this season, he's come off the bench and has, scored or did something, And if you're going to look, like I said, if you're going to, keep staying the top two, get promoted, all of this, like, it's important for obviously you guys to have players off the bench that can do something. But also, and I said this last show, but I'll say it again as we sort of approach January. It's important for you guys to not sell any of these guys that are because clearly you have a lot of younger, talented players. I mean, I can't say the same for Palermo because Palermo we're a very old squad. Like we have a lot of experienced players. Like we don't really have any apart from Corona. We don't really have any. Young sort of talent, you could say. And I think for Deportivo, that's the thing. Like, if you guys can keep Jeremy, then why can't you guys not continue this form? Because I think that you're showing that it's not just a starting 11. You've got players off the bench that can make an impact.
Oh, now your mic has turned off a bit. Yeah, now it's off, your mic, for some reason. Wait.
There we go. That's better.
Yeah, now it's better.
I don't know why it keeps doing this. How much of that did you catch that I was saying?
Maybe half.
Oh, well, I was basically saying that it shows a bit of depth, with these guys coming off the bench and scoring. And it's obviously important for you guys to keep these guys in January.
Yeah, I think it'll be very important just to see how, if we do add some additions to the squad, maybe, perhaps. But I would probably say that for Deportivo, it'll be very important to see how we go in the January transfer window, whether we make some moves. And obviously, there'll be clubs looking to get someone like Jeremiah or David Meyer. I would say Jeremiah is probably the main one that people.
Well, he almost went to Chelsea, which it would have been like crazy. Obviously Premier League and everything.
Yeah, imagine if he had cooked Arsenal the other day. But
he probably would have cooked us, to be fair, if he played against Spurs. So
yeah, maybe next season if he moves.
But I mean, in general, go ahead. Sorry, go ahead.
No. I was just saying, like, overall, I would still think both players like Jeremiah and David Meyer will stay. If Deportivo get promoted, then I'm not sure. Well, actually, I'll say if Deportivo don't get promoted, there's more chance maybe. But if Deportivo get promoted, it would be like 50-50, I would say. Like sell or
Yeah, because I think maybe if you get promoted, they'll want it. They'll obviously, if they stay, they can play in La Liga, which is like obviously a big deal and everything. But I mean, we'll have to see. But I mean, just finally on sort of this game, obviously the table. Obviously you probably enjoy looking at it right now, being top of the league, but most importantly, being in the automatic promotion spots. I mean, 16 games in. I mean, obviously you guys have a longer season than Palermo. You guys have 22 teams in your league. So is that a 40 game season for you guys?
42.
42, of course. Yeah, 42 game season. So look, you're have to do maths here. Half of 42. 21. So not quite halfway yet, but it's so for you guys, it's definitely still quite early. But I mean, what's your thoughts on obviously the position and I guess the run of form you're in? I mean, 5 wins in a row.
Yeah. Can finally cut the hair or whatever.
Yeah.
But in the title of my video, no lose November for anyone.
No, not November. No lose.
No lose November. So for Deportivo, but I would say, so far so good. I would say obviously we're not I think we're the joint second highest goal scorers. I mean the top 3 are the only teams with 30 plus goals scored. But defensively, I'd say we're better than the 2 below us.
Only Las Palmas.
Yeah, only Las Palmas,
and only theirs is better. Yeah.
Yeah. So I would say defensively we look pretty decent, and then attacking wise, we're not as good as Santander because they scored 4.
Well, they're like the Spanish. They're like the Spanish version of Angeball. Yeah. Except they get more results in like over the league season.
Yeah, and then I would say, our next we have, apart from the cup game in the league, we have 4 more games until the sort of Christmas break. And
because you guys have the winter break. That's right. Yeah.
And I think I'll be honest, the fixtures for Depor in this month of December, the 4 games, if you want to exclude the Copa del Rey game, are still pretty reasonable fixtures that you can see Depor winning. We have Castellón, Sociedad B, and Andorra. So it's actually 3 games.
Andorra in the relegation zone. After being like, what was it, 5th or something in early doors. So.
Yeah. So I would say like those 3 games, Castellón at home, Real Sociedad B team, so the B team of Sociedad, and Andorra away. I would say those 3 Segunda games with the form Deportivo in, you probably expect 9 points. 2 home games.
I mean, based on what's been going on the last few weeks, I mean, you probably should. I mean, I guess as well, what's interesting about us, obviously, you sort of set an expectation at the start of the season. You were like, if we minimum get into the playoffs, well, I think at the moment, I mean, again, there's still a lot of like football to be played, but you're 8 points inside of the playoffs. So I think that it's fair to say you've built up a gap between, not being in the playoffs and at least being in the playoffs.
Yeah, and if you want to consider, you can say our closest rival, which is Santander. I don't consider Santander a rival. Like, oh my god, like I hate them. No, I like Santander for the football they play.
I say this on a lot of shows, but when I went to the Europa League final, I stayed in Santander. So
so you got to see, the stadium and all.
Well, the club shop, I only saw outside. I went into.
How big was it? I know it's not as big as us, but
I mean, it's definitely smaller than Palermo. But I don't know. It's probably. I mean, it looked around. I don't know, like 20,000 or something. Kind of like Brentford's, if that makes kind of like Brentford Stadium. Yeah.
Or probably maybe I don't know if it would be as big as Newcastle. I don't know if you went.
No way.
Oh, so not as big as the Newcastle one because maybe you've been there, the club shop. I don't know if
Newcastle. Oh yeah, no, I've been outside the club shop in Newcastle, but I haven't been inside.
Yeah, so maybe something like that. But for Santander, our rival, their fixtures until New Year's is Cadiz away, Leganes at home, Huesca away, and 2 away games, difficult fixtures perhaps. I mean, Leganes isn't a difficult fixture now.
Oh, they've fallen off a cliff. Obviously, what's interesting about them is they were in La Liga last season, and
Yeah.
I mean, look, to be fair, they were doing all right in Pires. They obviously ended up getting relegated, but yeah, they've had a real stinker so far this season.
Yeah, and I think, if you want to look all the way down at the table, look at
Zaragoza, look, they're making a fist of it now. After losing like every game at the start, they've
Yeah.
made 3 straight wins. Funnily,
Yeah. So I was like, oh, they're certain to go down. They look terrible, and then they won like 3 games in a row. I'm like, where's this come from? Thankfully, it wasn't. I think the last loss was actually against Deportivo.
It was. Yeah, you guys were the last to beat them 2-0. Yeah, I remember we spoke about it, but
or something like that. Yeah.
Yeah. But I guess kind of we'll move on to sort of your next couple of games. Of course,
Copa
you
del
play
Rey.
in the Copa del Rey. Who is it you play? I have to get familiar
Sabadell.
with Sabadell, yeah. And then your fixtures. Here we go. So you play Sabadell and then you play Castellón at home. So talk to me a bit about Sabadell. I mean, look, I'd be lying if I've said I've heard of them before. I'm guessing they're a 4th, 3rd division team or something.
They just got promoted to the 3rd. I remember them 2 years ago in the 3rd tier. They got relegated. So last season they were 4th tier, and then they got promoted. So this year they are in the 3rd tier, but not in the same tier as Lugo, or in the same group, like Group 1.
Oh, yeah, because it's the same in Serie C. It's like the north and south.
Yeah.
But I guess, I mean, this is round 2 of the Copa del Rey. I mean, how close are you to playing like La Liga teams? Is it the next round?
I mean, there are La Liga teams in this round. We just didn't draw them.
I should say the La Liga teams in Europe, like Madrid, Barca.
I think it's only the Super Copa teams, because tomorrow there's Barcelona, Athletic, and on Wednesday there's Athletic and Real Madrid. All of them are playing in the
Super Cup, yeah.
Yeah, in January. So that's why they will enter the round after this one. So if Deportivo win, I hope so, against Sabadell, then there's a chance Deportivo can host a.
Well, you got to see, of course, Lugo play Atletico Madrid.
Yeah,
that was exciting.
Yeah, and I got to see the Spain team beat I got to see San Marino, the U21s.
Yeah.
But yeah, for Sabadell, I know, if anyone knows, Matt's channel, the one that he supports Bristol Rovers and FC
Oh yeah,
Porto.
Matt. Big up to Matt. Bristol Rovers.
He actually follows Sabadell.
I know he follows Porto, right, as well.
Yeah.
Porto.
I know
he likes Porto and obviously Bristol Rovers. And everything.
And then I know he follows Sabadell.
Wow. I'd never heard of them, if I'm being honest.
They're from Catalonia. I don't know.
Yeah, I see the flag. Yeah, I see the flag.
Yeah, I don't know if they are like near Barcelona or something, but I know the other day they played, I think the big rivals, Europa. That's literally the other team. CE Europa. So if Sunderland want to say they play in Europe, maybe they should play Europa. Yeah.
Europa.
But against Sabadell on Thursday evening, 7:00 here.
Oh yeah, just this comment here from Dantrum. Yeah, we will be there. We will be there. Bring this derby back. We need to see Ten's tears.
Yeah, I think that if we progress, it would be early January or sometime in January. I think is the next round if we make it. Obviously, I would say I hope we make it for the competition, but obviously, I would love. I'll talk about if we actually do make it, but obviously I would prefer,
save it. But I think that you guys are probably going to make a lot of rotation because obviously you're playing a team in a lower league, and also look, I think getting promoted is obviously the priority for you guys.
Yeah, unless like we're actually in the final. If the final is against Real Madrid, we beat Real Madrid. 2004.
Yeah, 2004.
The time Deportivo beat Real Madrid at the Bernabeu in the 100-year anniversary.
Yeah.
So, but I think for this game against Sabadell, I do think there'll be some changes, but I was we shouldn't do what Man City did against Leverkusen, make everyone change. I think they'll just, they'll kind
Yeah,
of.
assume it. You have to be calculated about it.
Yeah, so I would say, I would probably still go with, well, we should win, I hope. Our record against them, because they were in the third division when Deportivo were in the third division. And the record is 1 win in the last 6, 1 win Sabadell,
They're not
one
even doing
draw.
that well then.
Yeah, and then 4 wins for Depor. So I would probably, but that was like a long time ago. But I would probably say I'll go with a 2-1. Maybe Sabadell get a goal. I'll go 2-1 for them. And big up to
Oh,
the
Liam,
Bayern
big up
too.
to Liam every single time. Make
Yeah,
sure you
and also,
subscribe to the Bayern View if you
yeah,
haven't
we'll
already.
be on his channel or the TVV show, something like that later. And also big up to Lucas Talks Dons. Even though I think AFC Wimbledon is bigger.
Look,
but
I mean, yeah, nah.
But I'll go for a prediction 2-1 for Deportivo, and hopefully progress in the cup. But we'll see. But as for the game on the weekend, I think on Saturday, I think against Castellón, this is the team we actually got promoted with last season. So about a year and a half ago, like the season before last, Deportivo and Castellón, they won. So Deportivo won Group 1, Castellón won Group 2.
Well, so this wasn't last season. This was the season before, right?
Yeah,
The
like
season before last.
we
Yeah.
both got promoted together.
It's kind of like it's like Palermo and Bari.
Yeah,
in
basically.
In 2022, we both got promoted together.
Yeah, and then we played you can call it the championship final. It was over 2 legs, and we beat them. I think over the 2 legs it was 2-1 for us and 4-2 for us. So that was a 6-3 aggregate. And then last season we beat them 5-1 and drew 2-2 at their stadium.
It's kind of like Palermo Padova. We beat them in the playoff final 2-0 over 2 legs. We beat them 1-0 in both games. Now they're in Serie B as well, so we're in the same league now.
Yeah, and I think, in my opinion, I would probably say for this game against Castellón, to be honest, I did not expect them to be this high up. They're in the playoff. They just beat Las Palmas the other day. Yeah,
big win for them. Yeah,
Las Palmas, and that's actually good. That was good for us, because Las Palmas are now 3 points behind us.
We need it. We're gonna come to Palermo in a minute, but yeah, Liam 100%. We need it. We need it.
But for this game against Castellón, we have a good record against them. The past 2 seasons technically, and it's at home. We want to continue the good home form. I would say if we keep on winning the final 3 games of the season, or not of the season, of the year until New Year's and all, then we would be top of the league unless Santander, continue to score 10 goals every game or something. We would practically be top of the league for enjoying Christmas. But, that doesn't always mean shit, because Arsenal did that, I remember, and they didn't win the league. So
probably same thing's probably going to happen this season.
We'll find out.
I hope so.
But I would say, for my prediction, I would say we'll beat Castellón, and it's on Sunday. I will beat it. I will say we will win 3-1. 3-1, I would say. So I'm basically saying we'll concede in both games.
I think for the cup, I think you win. I think maybe like 2-0 or something, kind of like the last round of the cup. And against Castellón, I think you win 3-1 as well. I mean, you've got, with the form Deportivo are on, I mean, they should back themselves to beat any team in the league. So I think that another win should be. I mean, Castellón, like you said, they're doing quite well. They're in the playoffs.
Yeah, I'm surprised actually. Yeah,
they're sort of a bit of an underdog.
They're unbeaten in the last 5-6 games.
So this could be a pretty this could be a tough game, but I do think Deportivo will have enough. I mean
Yeah, I would say
they're the most on form team in the league, and you guys, I think, look, you just obviously you had a bit of a bad patch sort of in like September, October
I would
time.
say, yeah, it was October,
Yeah,
5 hour win, and then five
wins in a row. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's completely flipped.
yeah. So Halloween was quite haunting, but November we
Christmas
succeeded.
is looking good now.
Yeah, we succeeded. No lose November.
Exactly. So yeah, look, things definitely looking good for Deportivo. We'll see if they can continue to keep their spot at the top of the table, and most importantly, in the top 2 automatic promotion spots into La Liga. But let's move on to my club. Let's go and talk about Palermo now. Listen, in the last few weeks, I've been complaining a lot. I've been bashing our team. I've been bashing our performances. But what I saw over the weekend, obviously it was nice because it distracted me from the shit show I watched with Spurs. But Palermo won 5-0. 5-0 at home against Carrarese. A Carrarese team who aren't even a bad team. I mean, I know we beat Pescara 5-0 a few weeks ago. That was our last win before this game. Pescara are a newly promoted team who are currently in the relegation zone. But Carrarese, they've been doing all right. You know, they were a newly promoted team last year. We didn't beat them last year. And we went out and won 5-0 in a, not even just scoreline wise, but the performance was dominant. We fully cooked them. Of course, Poyampalo finally clicking into gear this season. Obviously, got a goal last time against Virtus Entella. Now with a hat-trick against Carrarese, his second hat-trick for Palermo. Of course, he got one against Sassuolo last season, who ended up getting promoted. So, you know, definitely an interesting team that he got his first one against. But yeah, his second hat-trick for Poyampalo. Jacopo Segre with his second goal of the season. Really good strike. And Palumbo got his first goal as a Palermo player. Of course, a new signing over the summer. And just look at the stats. You know, we created, you know, XG of 3.82, 21 shots. Again, 9 on target, you know, 8 big chances. We had multiple opportunities. We finally looked like a team that created a lot, you know, and I agree with this. I was surprised myself as well, but just based on what I was seeing the last few weeks, I said a draw. Yeah, I mean, you said we'd win, to be fair, but I said we'd draw this game because I just wasn't seeing anything that suggested we were going to go and put this performance in. But at the same time, this is the performance, you know, and obviously, like I said, I know we won 5-0 against Pescara, but this was, you know, Carrarese, a much better team. This is the Palermo I've been waiting to see all season. This is the Palermo that I expected to see from the start of the season. Now it is just one game, so there's a lot of there's a long way to go. We're still not, you know, in a position in the table that we want to be in. We're not in the automatic spots, but at the same time, if we can play like that from now on, we can definitely make a push to get back into the top 2 for sure. Because a lot of results went our way this weekend as well. We've closed the gap just that little bit. And I think, yeah, 100%. It's about consistency. 100%. I think that, yeah, exactly. Yeah, Port Vale. This was a proper performance. This was literally no complaints. Obviously, I've been complaining a lot in recent weeks, but today about Palermo, I have no complaints, and I'll say it straight up. That was the best performance of the season. Not just scoreline wise, because we scored 5 goals, but just the way we played. It was by far the best. We created a lot. We were peppering them, and we finally, you know, had a big win like we did. As you can see, the team, obviously Joronen, Ceccaroni, Bani, Birincinski, Agello, Pirozzi. Finally, Pirozzi back at right wing back. Ranocchia back in the team after his suspension, Segre. And then front 3, you had Leduron, Palumbo, and Poyampalo. So unfortunately for Brunori, still no place for him in the starting lineup. But obviously, yeah, Poyampalo. I mean, assist as well. You want to add as well 3 goals. The perfect performance. Obviously Vasic came on earlier. I'm hoping Leduran, his injury isn't too bad. But Vasic, look, a player that I'm not his biggest fan, if I'm honest. Probably should have scored. He hit the post in that, obviously after he came on. But listen, if I'm being honest, No complaints whatsoever. That was a top performance. That is the performance that I've been just waiting for all season that just hasn't arrived. And finally, this weekend, a proper performance where we've looked creative, where we've scored goals, has finally arrived. And all I hope now, look, I'm not getting carried away because it is just one game, but I just hope now, you could say our season starts now, essentially, that we finally clicked into gear. And now we're going to see Inzaghi's Palermo. But again, it is just one game. I'm not getting carried away because the last few weeks have been absolute dog shit. Like absolute dog shit. But this, credit to everybody. This was much, much better. And obviously, the table, like I said, still not in a good position. We are sixth. We're in the playoffs. But, you know, still with 5 points from Frosinone, 7 points from Monza. You know, this, you know, we want to be in that top two. We have to be in that top two. And I think if we play like this, I think we can definitely, you know, start to close that gap. But still a long way to go. And we're still, obviously still sitting around sixth, of course, as well. So, 10. What was your thoughts? Palermo finally, you know, scoring some goals. Finally creating some chances. You know, finally a performance that, you know, you can actually take something away from.
Yeah, I think this was finally the first sort of like Palermo game. Because of course you had the Pescara game that you won. We'll get to this.
I have a lot to say about this. Don't worry, I have a lot to say about this next game.
But for this game against Carrarese, I forgot what I predicted. I think 1-0 or 2-0 something. But I said you win, you know, get a bit of confidence. But to get a 5-0, I know you beat Pescara 5-0, but that was like, but it's like anniversary or whatever. But this time it's like, you know, a bit of a response after, you know, not really having a good run of form. Apart from that 5-0, you know, drew 1-1 with Virtus Entella, lost 1-0 against the team owned by the Mafia.
They are, There's been a whole stories come out about Juve Stabia, There's a whole thing.
And then obviously you lost to Monza before that 5-0 against who do you call this? Again,
Pescara.
Yeah. Well, we'll see soon. But I would say the big takeaway is obviously Palermo finally. I think he's now the top goal scorer.
Yeah, he is. I mean, he had, I think, 3 goals before. Now he's got 4 in the last 2. So now he's finally scoring the goals that I've been expecting him to score this season.
Yeah, and you know I think I would say if Palermo's actually like, you know, on form scoring goals, I think Palermo
best striker in the league
wins most games practically. Maybe not against like, you know, a Monza or Empoli.
Palermo on form is the best striker in the league, easily. Yeah, because you saw everyone knows what he did with Venezia. Venezia, he scored like 25 goals in the season they got promoted.
Yeah,
so he's in Serie B. This guy is a 20 to 25 goal a season striker. Well, that's what he should be.
Yeah, and I think this game, you know, he got his hat trick, all the goals in the second half. I would say some bad defending from Carrarese, I would say.
I might add, to kind of caveat it a little bit, they were horrific. They were absolutely horrific.
Yeah, it makes Thomas Frank look like he's a genius. You know?
You had to get that in there.
But I would say, really bad defending from Carrarese for maybe 2 of the goals, I would say. Maybe the last goal, the hat-trick goal, under the goalkeeper's legs. You know, it makes Jordan Pickford look like he's like Manuel Neuer. Actually, no, that's not a good compliment because Neuer did something bad against Arsenal. I would say more like Buffon, you know. But yeah, I would say this game, and I'm sorry, Liam, for saying that if he's still here. But yeah, I would say against Carrarese, good performance, and finally, you know, I've been saying, when will Palermo actually be an inspiring team? You know, because that's sort of been lacking from Palermo.
Especially the last few weeks. I think we've been diabolical the last few weeks. Yeah, there he is. Look, he's still here. Not me. Look, I'm not involved in this. So.
Yeah. But I would say
I'm not involved. I'm not involved in this.
But yeah, I would say for Carrarese, for Palermo, it's finally like a good sort of performance to to
Yeah,
maybe bring that over for
that's
the
easily
month
the
of
best performance
September.
of the season. Easily.
Yeah, and obviously with the table for Palermo, you're still
Yeah,
a
let me get
bit
it up.
behind.
Look,
You,
we still got to catch up. We've still got to make up for the terrible run of form we've been on. I just hope this is the start of a run like Deportivo. I hope this is the start of that sort of run.
yeah, maybe you reach 5 wins in a row before Man United do.
Oh yeah, we need it. We will be there.
But I would say with the table for Palermo, like you're about what 5 points behind your one of your favorite teams, Frosinone.
Frosinone, these bastards, these cheats. Long
But
story, but they're cheats. They're absolute
yeah,
cheats. Frosinone.
and surprisingly, U.S. United States cut themselves now in the top 8.
We have to talk. Look, I hate to talk about it, but Empoli, they've risen up the table. I know they've got
Mm,
an absolute clown as a manager, but they've risen up the table. They're in the playoffs now after having a
yeah,
terrible start. I mean, look, to be fair to Empoli, they had a lot of turnover in the summer. There was a lot of players left, and
Esposito.
all of them, literally like all of them left. So yeah, but they've obviously won 3 games in a row,
Yeah,
and
they're soon to get 5 in a row. But
no,
I
no.
would say in terms of like Palermo chasing, you can chase Frosinone. I'm not sure about Monza. I think
Monza, I'll be honest, right? The way I'm seeing Monza played, I think they're going to get the title. I know it's still close. I know there's 2 points, and it's even Modena still aren't far away. But I think Monza. That I make them just based not even just the table, just the way Monza are playing. I make them
yeah,
favorite.
and they beat
Although
you
they did
2
draw, they did draw to Juve Stabia this weekend. But I do make Monza favourites for the title itself. Second place, I still think is up for grabs, and I'm just hoping that we can be in that conversation.
Yeah, I think it's very important in actually both the Segunda and in Serie B. If you win like 5 wins, if you actually do what Man United can't do, then you have a good chance of being near the top of the table, somewhat. Obviously, you see that with Deportivo now. You have kind of seen that with Monza until that draw. So I would say for Palermo, it's just I would say you have to win this upcoming game. You
Yeah, this is a big game. This is a really big
might as
game.
well get to the
We'll
fun.
get into it. Yeah, of course. Palermo, as you can see next on the table, as you can see here. Our next game is none other than Empoli. Empoli, who are right behind us, 3 points behind us in 7th. This game, let me tell you this. This isn't just Palermo Empoli. This means more. This is Palermo against Dionisi. This means everything because this is the perfect time for me to. I know I've mentioned it briefly on streams on this show, but it's the perfect time for me to talk about what an absolute fraud this manager was. Because for those who don't know, he was Palermo manager last season. He came in, and look, if I'm being honest, I was happy with the appointment at the time. He had got Sassuolo, close to Europe in Serie, finishing in the top half. I think they came like 8th or something, almost got into Europe. He got Empoli promoted into Serie A as well. I think did he get no, not Sassuolo, because Sassuolo had quite a long stint in Serie A before they got relegated. So at the time, I was quite happy with the appointment. Obviously, Corini had just gone. Corini, who look, he's a club legend, fantastic player for us. I personally never rated him as a manager. Like I said, he did have that purple patch that I always bring up. Where he had 5 games where we were just cooking. We were like we beat Como 3-0 and everything like those. But apart from that, Carini was somebody that I, as a manager, didn't really rate too much. And so Dionisi, I was like, look, this guy, he's one of these managers that knows, he's got teams promoted in the past. But how it played out was nothing short of a disgrace. Not just in terms of results, because we finished 8th in the last playoff spot. We got absolutely done by Juve Stabia we didn't even reach the main playoffs because obviously in Serie B, like 5th to 8th is the preliminary round of the playoffs. You have to play 1 game before you reach, the semi-finals and stuff. We showed zero resistance against Juve Stabia, lost 1-0. And it summed up the season because, this guy, not only was he a terrible manager for us, but the stuff he would say was absolutely ridiculous. He would constantly contradict himself. He would gaslight everybody. For example, he continuously said, I can't play with three at the back. I can't play a three-man defense. And you know what he did? He kept playing a three-man defense in a period last season. That's just one example. Like, you guys get the gist. Contradicting, hypocrisy, all of these things is this manager that is Dionisi. An absolute clown. Will go down as one of the worst managers in Palermo's history. And we've had some shockers. I mean, obviously, during the Zamparini era, we had a manager every week, basically, for those that know, during that time. So, listen, you know, he was given too long last season. He should have gone probably, I'd say, around at least halfway through last season. He should have gone. Obviously, look, the board at Palermo seemed to be the complete opposite of the Zamparini era. They seem to want to give managers a lot of time. I mean, they gave Corini a long time. So, yeah, he was here the whole of last season. Fans were protesting against him at the end of the season. They were booing and whistling him in the stadium. You know, there was a big picture. For those that haven't seen it, there was a big picture on the stand in protest of his face with just a cross over it saying the end. So that's how the Palermo fans, especially the ultras, the Curva Nord, how they felt about this guy. Because not only was this guy a horrendous manager, but he was gaslighting and contradicting himself and talking absolute shit in every press conference. Plus, did you see what he said after he joined Empoli? He threw a dig at us. He threw digs at us. He was like, you know, at Empoli, they know they train better here. But he was throwing digs at us after he joined Empoli. You know? This game, it's not a derby, obviously. Empoli, you're in Tuscany, you know, Toscana, you know, a long way.
That's like Florence, right?
Yeah. Well, they have a derby with Fiorentina, yeah. So this isn't a derby, but this is one of these games where something extra is added to it. And obviously, as Palermo fans, you know, the closest sort of rivalry we have is Frosinone, not geographically, but because of obviously the incident that happened in 2018. Until, you know, we play Catania again, you know, we're not going to have that proper derby, you know. So, and look, if I'm being honest, I hate to say it, but if we don't get promoted, I think we will be playing Catania next season, because I do think they're going to get promoted to Serie B this year. So, but hopefully we get promoted so we don't play them. But if we do, that's 6 points for us. So it is what it is. But no, jokes aside, this Empoli game means a lot. Not just for the table, but because of the Dionisi factor. It adds an extra element to this game that I'm hoping raises the level of our players. Because clearly our players, you know, obviously they clearly fell out with him. You know, our players clearly didn't get on with this guy too much. So I'm hoping there's an extra element of, you know, motivation for our players to go and beat this manager in his own stadium in Empoli. Of course, Empoli, look, this is, you know, not a great time to be playing Empoli. I wish we played them, you know, earlier in the season when they were, you know, falling, you know, they were down the bottom and everything. Since then, you know, things have changed. Dionisi, look, he took a while to get going, but he has sort of, you know, got them going in the last few games. Obviously, they've won 3 games in a row. No doubt they're going to collapse at some point because that's Dionisi. Like I said, terrible manager. But this game means more. This game means more than just 3 points. But obviously, it is most important to go and get 3 points because we can gain a bit of distance on Empoli, and we can hopefully, depending on other results, get closer to the top 2. But like I said, I'm not going to get too carried away from one game. Look, it was a great performance. It was a great result. But I'm not going to get carried away. If we go out there, if we put in a similar performance against Empoli, then we're talking. But obviously, in the back of my mind, because it is just one game, I'm thinking, are we going to revert to type? Are we going to go back to what we were seeing the past few weeks? Which, like I said, I've explained it on other shows. It's been nothing short of disgraceful. The performances we've been seeing until this weekend. But it will be a tough game. Obviously, Empoli, they've had a lot of turnover in the summer, but they are a newly relegated team from Serie A last season. 10. What's your thoughts on this? You know, do you think the Dionisi thing adds something to this game? Obviously, look, he'll, I'm sure, be motivated to beat us. You know, it goes both ways. So, yeah, what's your thoughts on this? And obviously, yeah, how do you see the game going? Yeah, what's your thoughts? Everything I've spoken about.
I would say, does this mean more for Dionisi or for Palermo? Or for Empoli in general? Because obviously if Empoli win, they go level on points with Palermo and kind of, in a way, solidify a contender as a top 8 sort of team. But I would say for Palermo, if you win this, you go 6 points clear of Dionisi and Empoli. And if it's a draw, then it's the same thing. But I would say it is going to be a really tough game against Empoli. I do think that they have definitely improved a lot. Their last 3 games, 1-0, 3-0, 5-0.
Maybe 5-0 against Bari. Although I'll tell you what, Bari are having an absolute stinker this season. They've been way down there, which nobody expected.
Yeah, they went from 1-0, 3-0, 5-0. Maybe this could be 7-0. It would be funny, but it's the 2 teams that won 5-0 this weekend.
Yeah.
So obviously you can say based on that, both teams are on form. But I'd say over the course of the past few weeks, I would say Empoli have been the better team compared to Palermo. So I think that might play a factor. And, this could end in a draw as well. It could also be a win for either. There's only 3 outcomes. But I think this is going to be hopefully an exciting game. Hopefully now with Paulo being more, goal scoring, and Empoli, now picking up not just 3 wins, but 3 clean sheets in a row. And for a prediction.
Oh, I know what you're going to do. I know exactly what you're going to do.
Palermo, the away team, 2. Empoli. I'll go Empoli 3-2. Hopefully it'll be an exciting game. I don't know. I just feel like it's not because of Dionisi, but I do think
I hear you.
They've improved a lot compared to Palermo, because Palermo at the start were high up in the league and then kind of dropped down-ish, whereas Empoli started from the bottom. Now they're here. A great song. I forgot the name of the song, but start from the bottom. Now we're here. So I think, and with the run of form that Empoli have been on, I just maybe have a feeling, especially at home, if this was in the Renzo Barbera, maybe Palermo win. But I think because it's away, and the Empoli fans obviously want to get a win so that they secure this sort of spot in the top 8, you can say, or even push for the top 2 ahead of Palermo, then I would probably say my prediction 3-2 Empoli. Paulo to score one of the goals for Palermo, but I think maybe last minute goal for Empoli.
No, I can't do it. Listen, I'm gonna be bold with this prediction. Look, I know I said I'm not getting carried away, but because it's Dionisi that we're coming up against, 3-1. 3-1. I want us to just smoke this team. I want us to just go there and just absolutely batter them. I don't think that will happen, but one can dream. So 3-1. 3-1 Palermo. Look, like I said, if we play like we did in the last game, I think we win this game. But whether that happens is obviously another question. But yeah, all I'm going to say is this. I'm not going to predict this manager to win against us. It cannot happen. He lost to Inzaghi twice last season. 2-0 and 2-1. Home and away. So it's time for Inzaghi to beat him again.
Yeah, and we'll see how that goes.
Obviously, that was when Inzaghi was at Pisa and they got promoted. So
yeah. And his brother beat him. As in, like when Empoli were in Serie A.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. But I guess might wrap up the show, more or less.
Yeah. I think that pretty much covers everything. Of course, another episode of La PIñA Rosa. Palermo and Deportivo. Hopefully both teams can get another win in their next few games. But yeah, 10. Any final words before you wrap up?
Yeah, obviously, Charlie said earlier in the show we'll do a watch along for because Newcastle to win 5 in a row at home against Spurs. We'll find out.
I can't wait for that tomorrow. Yay! I can't wait. You know, we're gonna get humiliated again. I can't wait. We conceded 2 in 5 minutes against Fulham. Now we're gonna lose 6-1 again. Yay!
Maybe we've actually we'll talk. We'll do a preview, sort of.
We'll do a pre-game preview, and then obviously the game will start, and it will be like the watch along. So
yeah, and then on Friday, while there's maybe a handful of people watching, me and Charlie and a few others will be doing the 2026 FIFA World Cup draw because on Friday it's the draw itself.
It's on my birthday. On my birthday.
Oh yeah, on his birthday. So we'll see who Italy may get. If they
may or may not get. And we'll see who England will definitely get. At least,
yeah. So yeah, looking forward to that. Obviously the stream of it will be streamed on both channels plus the other people's channels.
Yeah.
But yeah, I would say looking forward to the next few days, and we'll see who gets who in the World Cup, and see if Dionisi gets his win on.
I hope Dionisi takes the L that he deserves on next week because
or Sunday.
Honestly, we need that.
Oh no, his mic turned off just at the right time.
Oh, here we go.
Okay, now it's back.
They're trying to stop me So, so there you go. But yeah, guys, we're gonna wrap it up. Big up to everybody watching. Big up to the chat. We had a really good chat today. So big up to that tuned in into the show. Make sure you're subscribing to both channels, my channel and Ten's channel. And yeah, we will be back tomorrow for the pre-game preview / watch along all in one stream. It will be the same stream. So yeah, you guys don't have to worry about finding the different links. But yeah, we'll be back tomorrow when, I inevitably get humbled again by Newcastle. So yeah, big up everyone for watching as always. We will see you in the next one.
That would